Hello everyone, I'm bringing you a video today looking at a private purchase item which I'd hoped to be able to include in the video looking at the 1958 pattern water bottle. I certainly mentioned it there, but I didn't have an example at the time. So we're going to have a look at one of these now. And this is the Survival Aids private purchase aluminium mug, which was intended for use with the 1958 pattern bottle. It nests with it and can be carried in the water bottle pouch of the 1958 pattern or the PLCE equipment. And from that point of view was quite a popular item as far as I'm aware, certainly used in the Gulf. I think the late 80s, early 90s thing really, but certainly useful for Gulf kit. So I was keen to pick one up, and it comes with a little stand or stove as well, as we'll see. And as I say, introduced around that sort of time, late 80s, used in the early 90s, and from what I understand, quite popular, though a fairly expensive item. The sort of tagline was that this meant you didn't have to carry mess tins, you could use the mug for cooking and so forth. So an advance in that regard on the issue mug, which was of course made of nylon, as was the bottle. So that's what we're going to have a look at now, as an example of one of these mugs, and a later development, I think. Talk a little bit more about that as the video progresses. Hopefully people will be able to provide information on the other mug we're going to look at. But we'll have a look at both of these now, together with the little stand or stove, and hopefully it'll be interesting. So here we have the mug we're going to talk about and the little stand that comes with it, which sort of acts as a stove, I guess you could say. And it's pretty simple bit of kit. It's an aluminium mug with butterfly handles fitted with this bracket with 3 rivets at the back. You can see the rivet heads on the inside there. And we have this black outer painted finish and then a non-stick finish on the inside, which is heavily worn from being stirred by the look of it. It looks very much like most of that's been scratched off the bottom by from this being stirred with the bruise in it, which of course isn't great because you scrape off and then consume the non-stick finish, which is not particularly good for you, but hey ho, there it is. You can see also it's worn off the inside of the rivets there as well. I believe the rivet heads would have been coated with the non-stick material as well originally. So as I say, this design of mug appears in the late 80s and was used through into the 90s certainly, and was touted as removing the need to carry mess tins because you could cook in it, obviously, compared to the nylon mug that was issued with the 1958 pattern water bottle, which obviously you can't apply heat to that. You could use this for cooking in. It's non-stick, so it's easy to clean, and that's obviously a great advantage, although it has its other issues as mentioned. You can see in terms of the way this is formed, it's pressed, and you can actually see that some of the lines from where this was formed at the back here. Butterfly handles, as I say, which basically mirrors the 1958 pattern mug in that regard, and the shape and everything is very similar as well. It's designed to nest with the bottle, of course, for carrying the water bottle pouch, which in theory frees up a lot of space in the rear pouches or in the utility pouch, etc. You don't have to carry mess tins, and at least that's the idea behind this. It's certainly the tagline that was used to try and help sell it. The butterfly handles are quite good. They're loose enough in the bracket that forms the hinge there that they will actually double over and give a nice sort of solid grip. I certainly find butterfly handles better when they will overlap like that. Oops, overlap like that, and you know, allow you to sort of get a good firm grip on these. If they're sort of just butted up against each other, they're not as comfortable to hold. Much better when they will overlap like that. As you can see, the overall shape of this is very similar to the issue 1958 pattern cup, which of course is made of nylon, as already mentioned. And the little stand stroke stove that it comes with, this is a fairly typical design for these. They were certainly produced for use with the US metal canteen cup as well. Very similar. This one's been somewhat stoved in around the top, as you can see, I think to make it a bit of a better fit when used with the mug. But obviously you have a hole here where you could feed in fuel tablets, and obviously plenty of air holes to allow this to breathe. And in theory you could sit the mug on like that, which is not very stable. When I've seen them, I tend to have the mug set more on the side angle like this, though this is so bent and dinted, you don't actually have a flat surface at the top to rest the mug on anymore, which is a shame. I'm not sure if it has been done on purpose to make this work better and grip the base of the mug, or whether it is just wear and tear, but it is an example of one of these. And this of course nests with the mug like this, and then the bottle fits inside, so that you can carry them all in the water bottle pouch together. So quite a neat little system from that point of view. As I say, nothing really new with the stove and the cup here. The stand or stove pre-existed for use with the US canteen cup. So this is just an adaptation of that design for use with the Survival Aids mug that we have here. You'll notice there's a wear line around the top here, and that is where the plastic rim could be fitted. One of the big problems with drinking directly from a metal vessel, of course, is that the vessel itself is hot and can burn your lips. And the solution that was offered with this was a plastic rim which could be fitted temporarily around this, obviously taken off when you're using it to cook or heat a beverage, and then slotted into place, clipped into place to allow you to drink from it without burning your lips. Aluminium is particularly bad for that. It obviously has very good heat transfer properties and therefore conducts heat to your skin very quickly, whereas enamelled metal mugs and things are a little bit better from that perspective. Aluminium is particularly bad. So that was the solution that was offered. This didn't come with the plastic rim. However, something I picked up recently at Victory Show is this, what I believe to be a later example on this theme, and I'm not sure who made this, but I believe it is again a private purchase, a later private purchase mug, which is very similar. We'll look at the similarities in a minute, but this exhibits a damaged example of the plastic rim that could be clipped onto these. As you can see, it's cracked along the front here as well, but it illustrates the point. This is the sort of plastic rim you could clip on to allow you to drink from this when it had a hot beverage in it without burning yourself. This actually is very, very similar. It's slightly different dimensions, but it has the same style of bracket on the back with the 3 rivets. As you can see, one in the center and one to each side, obviously butterfly handles. These don't overlap in the way that I prefer, so they're less comfortable to hold, and just to illustrate that point there. And it is shorter, as you can see here, it's considerably shorter. If I fold the handles up and actually put them flat on the blanket together, you can see there's quite the difference in the dimensions there. It's about somewhere between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch shorter. So I don't actually know when this originates from, possibly 2000s, or the manufacturer, I don't know that either. So if anyone knows, I'd be interested to hear from you. Obviously this has been bare aluminium the whole time, rather than having that sort of non-stick coating and black outer finish on it, but is obviously a very similar design, possibly copied from a derivative from this, made by another company. But if anyone knows, I'd be interested to know. It was cheap and had the plastic rim on, which is sort of an example of this, much is heavily damaged. It would be nice to find a clip-on plastic rim for this. If anyone has one that they'd be interested in moving on, or a slightly nicer version of the Survival Aids mug that's surplus to their requirements, please do let me know. I'd be interested in picking up a tidier example. I'm very happy with this in the meantime. It's nice to add sort of Gulf War kit, that sort of era of kit and equipment. But I just thought I'd bring this in here because it does illustrate that plastic rim, and also gives me opportunity to sort of ask, for those who've perhaps used these, where do these originate from? Who made them? I believe they are private purchase, again, for use with the 1958 pattern bottle. But I believe they're somewhat later than the Survival Aids mug, which is the main feature of the video. So there it is, just a look at these 2 mugs and this stand, which allows it to be, well, the stand basically for use as a stove, as mentioned. Hopefully you've found it interesting looking at these. So there it is. As I say, I'd be very interested if anyone can advise on the second mug we looked at there, which obviously the bare aluminium example, which I believe is somewhat later. I'm not aware of the sort of manufacturer of these, as I said in the video, and somewhat different from the BCB private purchase stainless steel examples, which were actually a version of the issue examples. I think they were also issued as well later on. Stainless steel mug for use with the 1958 pattern bottle. They're somewhat different to the aluminium example we looked at here. Obviously the main focus of the video being the Survival Aids black mug, and obviously the questions regarding the bare aluminium example we looked at as sort of a side note, but I would be interested if anyone could provide any information on that. I hope you found it interesting looking at the Survival Aids mug and the little stand for it, and obviously the other mug as well. Hopefully the video has been interesting overall. If you have found it interesting and you'd like to see more of this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or whether you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, the notification button down below. That will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and you would like to support the channel, you can. Patreon and PayPal are linked down below. And as I always say, a huge thank you to everybody who supports the channel using those 2 methods, either with a regular donation, a subscription on Patreon, or a regular donation through PayPal, or those who send me a donation occasionally. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you all very much indeed. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you can. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below. And if you'd like to get in touch but you don't really use social media, there's of course an email address in the description as well. That's everything for this video, so until next time, bye for now.